So in today's video, we're going to be showing you how to fit the Milltek Valve Controller. Now this fits F and G series. In today's video, we're using a F82 M4, but if you had a G80 M3, for example, the premises is the exact same. So with this valve controller, you'll get two fobs that look like this. Now this will basically give you full control of your valves on your exhaust system. It comes with 3 buttons. You have number 1, which fully opens the valves. No matter what mode the car's in, the valves will stay open. You have number 3, which is fully closed. No matter what mode you're in, they'll stay closed. And then if you press number 2, the valves will operate as if they're completely stock. The tools needed for this install will be a 3/8 ratchet or a gun if you do have one, 3/8 extension, 13mm socket, a 10mm socket, 8mm socket, 6mm Allen key, and then some cable ties and a pair of side cutters. And you will also need some sort of stand to hold the exhaust when lowering it. So for today's video, we'll be using a gearbox stand. First step for this install will be getting the car up in the air. We do highly recommend using a ramp for this, as you do need to lower the exhaust, but you can technically do it on the floor with a pair of jacks if you don't have a ramp accessible. So before you get started lowering your exhaust, first thing you want to do is unplug your stock valves either side of the back box. One here, one over here. To remove these plugs, you just want to push down on the plastic tab at the top. While you're pushing that down, you just want to pull the plug out just like that. And then you just want to repeat that on the other side. Next step, you want to get your gearbox stand to support underneath the exhaust, because now we're going to be removing the back 4 exhaust hangers. So firstly, we'll be removing the back 2 hangers, which are just 2 13mm bolts either side. So you just want to grab your ratchet with your extension and your 13mm socket and just start undoing them now. So now the back 2 hangers are undone, you want to move up to the next 2 hangers. You've got one here which is just 1 13mm bolt, and then you have one on the driver's side which is 1 13mm bolt with a little 8mm bolt also attached as well. Last step before we can actually lower this exhaust now, we're just going to be removing this under brace, which is 6 6mm Allen keys. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we've got them 4 exhaust hangers removed and the under brace removed, we can now lower the exhaust. One thing to note when installing this valve controller, you can fully remove the exhaust if you want to, but for today's video we are just lowering it down because I've got more than enough access here to still get to where I need to get to. So next I'll be removing the rear heat shield, as this is where I'll be fitting the valve controller. I personally like fitting it here because then the heat shield protects all the wires in the valve controller from the heat coming off the exhaust. To remove this heat shield, you have 3 10mm nuts along the top, and then you have 2 8mm screws along the bottom. I'll show you where they are now. The 3 10mm nuts are here, and then the 2 8mm screws down here. Once you've removed all of them, you can now just remove the heat shield, just pull straight down. This now gives us access to where we would like to fit the valve controller. The valve controller box is going to get mounted along this rear crash bar, as it's a nice flat surface to stick it to. And then all the wiring loom will get tucked with the existing OEM wiring loom up in these brackets just up here. So these valve controllers come pre-applied with some 3M tape. They also have 2 cutouts for a cable tie, depending on where you choose to mount it. In this case, because we've got a nice flat surface, we will just be using the 3M tape. But if you don't manage to get a nice flat surface, you can also cable tie them to secure them. Just going to give the surface a quick wipe down before we stick the valve controller down. So now we're just going to stick the valve controller down. may be wondering why I fit this box upside down, and that's because where we're going to be running the wiring loom is above this box, so we want these cables facing upwards so there's no unnecessary bends in the cables. This part will be a bit difficult to show on camera, but what I'm going to be doing is running the Milltek Valve Controller loom along with the OEM wiring loom, and then just using some cable ties to secure it all down. But now I've got the wiring harness all secured, I'm going to briefly explain the plugs on the Milltek Valve Controller just before I put the exhaust up. So these two plugs are coming off the Milltek Valve Controller, and this plug here is from the OEM system. All you're going to want to do is plug the OEM plug into this Milltek plug, just like that. And then this plug off the Milltek wiring harness will then replace the OEM plug and plug straight into the valve. Next step will be putting the heat shield back on, just using the same 3 10mm nuts and the 2 8mm screws at the bottom. So now the heat shield's back in, we can get the exhaust bolted back up by repeating the same process from earlier in reverse. We're just going to jack the exhaust up with our gearbox stand, and then we'll be getting the under brace fitted first. So now we're just going to get the 4 exhaust mounts that we undone earlier done back up. Final step will be plugging in the Milltek Valve Controller into the OEM valve, then we'll get the car down and give you a little sound test. So that's the Milltek Valve Controller all fitted now. I'm going to quickly jump in the car and give you a quick sound test with the valves open and closed. The Milltek Valve Controllers are in stock and on the website now, with the option of worldwide shipping and in-house fitting. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. The member team will be more than happy to help.